There once was a great kingdom ruled by a proud and powerful emperor. His palace was magnificent. His court was filled with clever ministers, and people from faraway lands admired his wisdom. But during winter, the kingdom became very cold. The winds blew through the streets, the nights felt very long, and even the palace guards found it difficult to stay comfortable. One evening, the emperor sat near the palace garden, wrapped in heavy shawls, warming his hands beside a fire. As he looked toward the chilly lake, he smiled confidently. "I doubt any man could remain in that cold water for a whole night," the emperor declared. The courtiers quickly agreed. "That would be very difficult, Your Majesty." But among them sat a wise man, calm and thoughtful. "Your Majesty," he said softly, "there is always someone whose need is greater than their worries." The emperor smiled. "Very well. Whoever stands in that lake all night shall receive 100 gold coins." The announcement spread across the kingdom. The next day, an elderly man of modest means came forward. His clothes were worn, but his eyes showed determination. "My lord," he said softly, "I will do it." That night, the old man stepped into the cold lake, while guards watched from the shore. The weather was extremely cold. The wind swept through the darkness, and the chilly water reached his chest. To keep himself going, the old man fixed his eyes on a tiny lamp glowing softly from a distant palace window. By sunrise, shivering but successful, he stepped out of the lake. The guards looked at the old man in complete amazement. After standing in the cold lake the entire night, he had successfully completed the challenge. When the old man was brought before the court, he bowed and asked for his reward. But one courtier quickly interrupted. "Your Majesty, ask him how he managed it." The emperor turned to him. "Tell us honestly." The old man replied, "I kept looking at a small lamp in the palace, and its light gave me hope." "Aha!" the courtier exclaimed. "Then he received help from the lamp. He did not complete the challenge on his own," the court murmured in agreement. The emperor frowned and thought for a moment. Influenced by the courtier's argument, he slowly shook his head. "Then the reward cannot be given," he declared firmly. Disappointed and heartbroken, the old man lowered his head. He had endured the freezing cold all night, believing that his hard work would be rewarded. Without saying another word, he turned around and quietly walked away. The next morning, the wise man did not appear in court. Curious and puzzled, the emperor went to see him personally. When the emperor arrived at the wise man's house, he was greeted by a strange sight. In the middle of the courtyard stood an extremely tall wooden pole. Suspended from the very top of it was a small pot filled with soup, hanging so high that it seemed almost impossible to reach. Far below, on the ground, a tiny fire burned softly beneath it, so far away from the pot that its warmth could barely reach it. The wise man sat calmly beside the fire, as if he were patiently waiting for the soup to cook. The emperor stared in confusion. "What are you doing?" cooking soup, Your Majesty," the wise man replied. The emperor laughed. "That fire is far too low. The soup will never cook." The wise man smiled softly, and he said, "If a distant lamp can help a man remain hopeful while standing in a freezing lake all night, then surely this little fire can cook my soup from down here." The emperor fell silent. At once, he understood his mistake. Feeling regretful, he called back the old man and rewarded him with twice the promised gold. The old man's eyes filled with happy tears, and the wise man simply smiled, because once again, wisdom had spoken louder than pride.
If you like this story, then please share, like, and subscribe our channel. Happy Bee Tales!